Salam, peace be upon you. My name is Muhammad Laiq Siddiqui, the father of Holophase. We all want to say, this changed, but today we learn the rule that protects us from pretending. Before any update certificate is accepted, it must pass 8 gates, like 8 safety doors. If a claim cannot pass, we do not argue and we do not guess. We refuse and we record why. This is how change becomes public honesty, not loud storytelling. Recap so far, in the simplest everyday story, no abbreviations. Imagine we are running a small shop with a notebook and a stamp. On Monday we write, 10 apples are on the table. On Tuesday we write, 7 apples are on the table. Most people say, time passed, so it changed. But we decided to be more careful. In part 1, we learned change is not a river that carries things. Change is a certified link between 2 certified state folders. In part 2, we learned we do not call something public change unless we can show an update certificate that connects the 2 states with all checks passing. If there is no certificate, it is only a story. In part 3, we learned we must freeze the words we are allowed to use, so we cannot invent new magic words when we feel stuck. If we need a new primitive, the system refuses. In part 4, we built a state package called S of W. That is the sealed folder for what a window can honestly claim. The passport pi of W, the domain D of W, the ceiling N max of W, the uncertainty U of W, the finite jets up to the ceiling, the topology tokens, the invariant basis I of W, and the audit trail so other people can replay. In part 5, we learned we do not say next casually. Next must be a typed adjacency with a proof, like overlap adjacency or boundary adjacency. If we cannot prove it, we must say adjacency is undefined. In part 6, we build the update certificate itself. We learned it is like a receipt. It contains the hash of S from, the hash of S2, the adjacency proof hash, the transformer identity and version, the residual report, the uncertainty trace, the gate report, the audit digest, and the ledger pointers. Now we arrive at the question, who enforces all this? Who stops us from cheating when we are excited? The answer is part 7. We install the gates. Imagine we are at an airport. We have a suitcase. We say, trust us, it is fine. But the airport does not accept that sentence. There are checkpoints. You show your ticket, you show your passport. Your bag goes through a scanner. Sometimes they open it, sometimes they say, no, not allowed. Pause. Now we say clearly. Episode 14 gave us the alphabet of certified structure. Episode 15 gives us the grammar of lawful change. Episode 14 compiled what is publicly readable inside Windows. Episode 15 certifies how one compiled page can legally lead to another. And today we are asking, what is change, really? Today we install the part that makes our answer enforceable. Part 7, the 8 gates. Engine, enforcement, not philosophy. We do not argue about truth. We run the gates. A failed gate is not shame. It is honesty. Science is a machine that refuses. That is the heart of this part. Until now, we have been building objects. StatePackage S of W, typed adjacency proofs, update certificates. Now we build the inspector. The gate engine is the inspector. It is a machine that checks every update certificate before it is allowed into the ledger. And it checks 8 things, not 1, 8. Because cheating has many disguises. The trap we refuse in this part. The trap is arguing. Two people look at the same situation and start shouting, "You are wrong. No, you are wrong." We refuse that style. We do not solve public reality by loud voices. We solve it by checkable steps. So we replace argument with gates. If the certificate passes the gates, it is accepted. If it fails, it is refused. And the reason is written down. The 8 gates, explained like 8 real-life doors. We will not list them as cold bullet points. We will walk through them like an airport, a courtroom, and a hospital mixed together. Gate 1, the language gate. What it feels like. Are you even speaking legal language? Every system has a rulebook. In a classroom, you cannot solve a math test by drawing a dragon and saying, "I feel the answer." You must use allowed steps. Gate 1 asks, did you use only the allowed words and allowed objects? Did you use StatePackage, adjacency proof, update certificate, transformer, ledger, uncertainty, audit? Or did you sneak in forbidden words as if they were basic building blocks, like time is flowing, distance causes, force pushes, probability is a law, energy is a substance, meaning is a field, observer choice changes reality, as primitive nouns? If you used forbidden language as a foundation, Gate 1 says, stop, not legal. Then we issue a refusal certificate. Gate 2, the adjacency gate. What it feels like. Did you prove nextness? In everyday life, you cannot say, this photo comes after that photo, unless you can show the phone album order or the camera log or something that connects them. Gate 2 asks, did you prove the typed adjacency between the two windows? Did you show overlap adjacency, refinement adjacency, transport adjacency, boundary adjacency, or scale adjacency with a declared interface? If you did not, Gate 2 says, adjacency is undefined, and the update certificate is refused. Because without a proven bridge, next is just guessing. Gate 3, the recertification gate. What it feels like. Can the earlier compiler rebuild this? This is like cooking. If you say, I baked this cake, but you cannot explain the recipe, the ingredients, the oven temperature label, and the steps, then nobody can repeat it. Gate 3 asks, can the output state be rebuilt from the audit trail? Can another team, starting from the stored evidence, compile the same state package again? If not, we are not dealing with public reality. We are dealing with private magic. Gate 3 refuses it. Gate 4, the invariance gate. What it feels like. Does it survive relabeling? Imagine two maps of the same city. On one map, a street is called Rose Street. On the other map, it is called Street 7. The names changed, but the street did not move. Gate 4 asks, if phi goes to phi plus c, do the claims stay the same? Phi goes to phi plus c means we change the label system by adding a constant, like renaming all streets with a new numbering style. If our certificate changes just because we relabeled, then we were never describing the city. We were describing the names. Gate 4 refuses it. This gate protects us from fake change that is only a change of labels. Gate 5, the ceiling honesty gate. What it feels like. Did you claim more detail than your window can see? Imagine a child looking at a mountain from far away. They can say, the mountain is big, but they cannot say, there are exactly 3,742 stones on the mountain. That would be pretending. Gate 5 asks, did you respect the ceiling n max of w? N max of w is the maximum derivative order we are allowed to claim in that window. If we pretend we have infinite detail, we are lying. Gate 5 refuses it. This gate protects us from overclaiming. Gate 6, the uncertainty honesty gate. What it feels like. Did you underprice your error? Imagine we use a cheap ruler to measure a table. We might be off by a little. If we claim we measured the table down to a tiny hair width, that is dishonest. Gate 6 asks, did you carry the uncertainty U of W honestly? Did you propagate uncertainty from inputs to outputs? Or did you quietly shrink it to make your story look cleaner? Gate 6 refuses dishonest certainty. This gate protects us from noise sold as truth. Gate 7, the replay gate. What it feels like. Can strangers replay it? This is like a game. If you claim you won a game but nobody can watch the replay, nobody can check the rules you used, and nobody can verify the moves, then it is only your word. Gate 7 asks, can other teams replay the certificate decision? Do we have the seeds, configurations, instrument settings, environment details, and evidence pointers? If not, it cannot enter the public ledger. Gate 7 refuses it. Gate 8, the no new primitives gate. What it feels like. Did you smuggle a new magic cause? This is the strongest guard. This is the guard that stands at the door and says, you may not invent a new invisible thing just to win. Gate 8 asks, did you smuggle in time as a substance? Did you smuggle in metric distance as a primitive ruler of reality? Did you smuggle in force as a primitive pushing entity? Did you smuggle in probability as a primitive law? Did you smuggle in energy as a substance? Did you smuggle in meaning or observer choice as a primitive cause? If yes, the gate says, stop, not in this layer. And we write the refusal. This is how the framework stays clean. Scene 1. The library book return. Everyday scene. Imagine we borrow a book from a library. We return it. Later we say, the book moved from my home to the library. Most people think that is simple. But to make it public, the library uses gates. They scan the barcode. They check the due date. They check the condition of the book. They check who returned it. That is a real-world gate engine. Holophase translation. Our update certificate is like the library return receipt. Hash of S from the book at home state package. Hash of S to the book in library state package. Adjacency proof. Transport adjacency with a valid transport map. Gate report. The barcode scan, the identity match, the replay log. If we do not have those, we cannot say it publicly. We can still tell a story, but public reality needs the receipt. Failure classification example. If the barcode scanner was not recorded, that is an audit failure. If we use a different barcode system secretly, that is, language or passport mismatch. Gate 7 or Gate 1 refuses. Scene 2. The school attendance register. Everyday scene. A teacher writes present, later writes absent. But the teacher has rules. If a different teacher writes it with a different class list, it may not match. The teacher must record the context. Holophase translation. The passport P of W is like the teacher's class list and rules. If the passport changed, we cannot compare. Gate 2 blocks false adjacency. Gate 7 demands replay. Who recorded? What list? What time label as provenance only? The intervention split. Did the child change, or did the teacher change the register method? If the method changed, the window changed. Then the update certificate might be refused. This is honesty. Scene 3. The phone unlock. Everyday scene. Imagine a phone that unlocks with a code. If you type the wrong code, it refuses. It does not argue with you. It simply says, Wrong. Our gate engine is like that. A certificate either unlocks the ledger or it does not. Holophase translation. Gate 1 checks. Did you use legal tokens? Gate 2 checks. Did you prove adjacency? Gate 3 checks. Can we recertify? Gate 4 checks. Do we survive relabeling? Gate 5 checks. Did you respect the ceiling? Gate 6 checks. Did you respect uncertainty? Gate 7 checks. Can others replay? Gate 8 checks. No smuggled primitives? If any fails, the certificate stays locked out. Stress test inside this part. We run it clearly. Phi goes to phi plus c. Translation. If we rename every street in the city, did the buildings move? Answer, no. So any update certificate that changes just because we changed labels is not describing the world. Gate 4 catches it. This is a safety feature. The core spoken principle of this part. We say it plainly. We do not argue about truth. We run the gates. And we add, a failed gate is not shame. It is honesty. Science is a machine that refuses. Predictions delivered like receipts. Prediction 1. If two independent teams run the same gate engine on the same evidence bundle, the gate decisions must match. If they do not, the gate engine is not deterministic and must be revoked. Prediction 2. If an update certificate passes gate 7, then a third team should be able to replay and rebuild the same state packages and the same certificate decision. If they cannot, gate 7 was broken or the audit bundle was incomplete. Prediction 3. If a claim depends on relabeling, then changing phi to phi plus c will flip the conclusion. Gate 4 must catch this every time. If it does not, the invariance gate is missing or incorrectly implemented. Prediction 4. If a claim demands detail above the ceiling nmax of W, the gate engine must refuse it with a ceiling violation. If it accepts it, the engine is allowing fantasy. Failure signature taxonomy for this part. When the gate engine refuses, we do not hide it. We classify it. Token illegality. You used forbidden language. Adjacency missing. You said next without proof. Recertification failure. Outputs cannot be rebuilt. Invariance failure. Relabeling changes the claim. Ceiling violation. You claim too much detail. Uncertainty dishonesty. You shrank error without justification. Replay failure. Strangers cannot reproduce the decision. Smuggled primitive. Time, metric, force, probability, energy as stuff, meaning, observer choice. Falsifier for part 7. Falsifier in simple language. If we find a situation where we can repeatedly build honest state packages, prove typed adjacency, and replay audits across multiple teams, but any 8-gate engine must still disagree between correct implementations, then this part fails. In plain words, if the gates cannot be made deterministic and public, then they are not real gates, and we must rebuild the enforcement design. Audit artifact and revocation clause. Audit artifact. What goes into the ledger? We store the gate engine version record, so we know exactly which gate rules were used. We store the gate report format, with pass or fail for each gate and evidence pointers. We store the gate logs and evidence hashes so people can replay. We store minimal examples for each failure code, so everyone knows what each refusal means. We store the replay test suite contract that defines what replayable means in practice. Revocation clause. If gate decisions depend on unlocked environment details, the gate engine is revoked. If the gate engine is not deterministic under identical inputs, it is revoked. If a certificate is accepted without a full gate report, that acceptance is revoked and archived. If gate 8 ever allows a new primitive to enter quietly, the system is revoked and the violation is recorded in the negative archive. Episode 14 gave us certified structure. Episode 15 gives us certified becoming. If becoming cannot be certified, it is not public reality. It is only a story. If you want to go deeper, the formal work can be found on Zenodo. Search for Holophase. Always, peace be upon you.